How is it going, everyone? Larry here with the Farmstead Way, and today I want to talk about being blue collar, homesteader, and being functionally fit. Now, fitness is something that I am very, very passionate about. It is something that I've done since high school. 2010 was when I really started working out, and it's something I've always stuck with. And since I started working in the trade fields, I have found that fitness is paramount. There's been a lot of times where I need to have a lot of brute physical strength to do things, as well as functional mobility and stuff. So I'm going to go over a couple of things that you can use to work out that are super simple, super cheap, and super effective. So here we go. So this is my home gym. You've probably seen this in a couple of my other videos. This is actually attached. This actually is where we used to milk the cow, and then we got rid of the cow. I turned it into a workout area. So every morning I come out here and I pick a piece of equipment and I just do a cool, fun workout. So things I like to utilize in my workouts are things like elastic bands. Obviously you can see through along here. I've got an assortment of dumbbells and stuff, and I've got sandbags and stuff, and these are the main things that we're going to use to be going through this, and as well as cinder blocks. Now when it comes to fitness, especially as a tradesman or a farmer or anything, the first thing is going to be your weight and your diet. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're carrying around too much body fat and you're eating garbage every day, workouts are not going to do anything for you. You literally are what you eat. So if you're one of the contractors or tradesmen that go into the gas station and grab like 2 gas station cheeseburgers, a bottle of Mountain Dew, and a bag of chips, these probably aren't going to help you out too much. Not only is it going to give you a giant freaking beer belly, it doesn't have any of the nutrition in it that you need to support a healthy body. It's highly processed. It's probably not even real meat and cheese on the cheeseburger, and you're just killing yourself with all the sugar. Look at, go into a gas station on a normal work day and look at what people are grabbing off the shelves. It's normally just absolute filth and garbage. So the first thing is going to be cleaning up your diet. Check out my other videos on eating healthy as being a tradesman, and try to follow those tips as best that suits you. Now, as far as workouts, this is what I would recommend if you were a tradesman to help you out with certain things you might come across on the job. All right, so one of the first things that I'm going to recommend is trying to strengthen your core. The amount of tradesmen that have bad backs is absurd, and it all comes having a weak core because they go to pick something up. You know, say if I go to pick up this sandbag right here, and they bend down and they freaking blow their back out. So I use these elastic bands. These are Pat McNamara. Get you some elastic bands. And we're going to work on stuff called transverse plane of motion. So in bodybuilding, you have a lot of frontal movements, overheads, fronts, everything that's in the front and back. You don't have a lot of this, which in the trades, you do a lot of this. I've pulled my back grip and generator rip cords before, and it's not fun. So if you do transverse plane of motion work, like taking these elastic bands and just working upper body rotations, both sides, it's really going to help you out. Another thing that I would highly recommend is some kind of from low deadlift. Over here, I've got a 80-pound square of concrete. Now you have to be careful with this because you have to have a foundation of strength before you go off doing stuff like this. But I would recommend, whether it's a 5-gallon bucket or a cinder block or something, practice going from a low squat, picking something up, and using your legs to drive yourself up. So say if I had to take this piece of concrete to the truck because it's going to get thrown away, this is what I see all the time. Oh, I'm going to pick this up. Oh, use your back. Nah, do not do that. Get below it, keep your back straight, and pick it up. So practice doing deadlifts and then do some squats with it. You can do that with concrete block. You can do that with cinder blocks. This is a fun little half block that I've got, as well as full-on cinder blocks. Another cool piece of gym equipment that I would invest in that are not too terribly expensive and you can use other things for it is some kind of weighted sandbag. So sandbags are very good because the weight can get very awkward because the material you have inside can shift around. And with the brute force bags or if any sort of sandbags, it allows you to do a lot of practical motions. You know, say you're picking your tools up, having to pick and lift something up to get something in the bed of your truck, whether or not you're taking something and throw it on your shoulder like it's a bag of concrete or if it's going to be a feed sack. And work that over and over again. You know, do both sides, drop, pick it up, come up, drop it. Same thing with the other exercise. Come up, do a row, grab it. Come up, do a row, and drop it. Stuff like that. Just try to replicate in the gym different movements that you do at work. Now, like I said, trying to get that movement down is really important for me as an HVAC tech. Why is that? Because in the back of the truck is the vacuum pump, very full Freon tanks, reclaim machines, and you have to do a lot of reaching up and down. I've also had to do a lot of those kind of lifts working in factories doing industrial maintenance and fabrication. You need to have a good upper body strength, especially in your shoulders. And it's a good functional mobility, and it's a good sign of flexibility. Being able to go from here and come all the way up. This next one is one of my favorites, and it's also very good for a multitude of different things. Whether it's for cardio, because I don't have time to freaking run on a treadmill because I do all my workouts before I go to work. Good for power, good for endurance, trains circular motion and strength. So you can use a sledgehammer, but I've got one of these. I think this is a 15-pound mace. I think if it had a weight on it, it was written off. But whether you're chopping wood, sledging up concrete, or just doing anything, even like shovel work, you can use these sledgehammers for a bunch of cool different things. So I've got just a junk tire here and doing tire slams and working both sides. Being able to have power on both sides, because normally people get used to only using one side and that buggers them all up because they're so used to using their dominant side. Same thing, this is a 25-pound mace. This is a little too heavy for me to swing, at least in transverse plane of motion, but you can do overhead hits. As well as different shovel movements. Taking it, coming up, over your shoulder, down, 1, down, 2, down 3. Also doing both sides. 1, 2, 3. So whether you're digging holes, pitching manure, especially pitching manure because that crap gets heavy really fast, stuff like that is going to be very, very, very helpful. The main thing with working out, especially when you're a tradesman, is making it fun. Because like I said earlier, I normally work out before I go to work. So luckily with us being self-employed, we're making our own schedule, and being residential HVAC techs, people don't exactly like you showing up at their house at 7 o'clock in the morning. Sounds like gunfire. Fun times in the country. So I get up at 6. I do my best to get out here, get amped up, and when it's snowing outside, it's not the best. So I have a whiteboard over on the side, and I use that to kind of plan out what I'm going to do. I follow Pat McNamara. He's a special operations Delta guy that I know. I use his combat strength training setup. So I work in circuits. So those exercises I'll do 10 of one, then immediately go into 10 of a different one, 10 of a different one, 10 of a different one, and you don't stop. And you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. That helps keep your heart rate high. That helps you to keep things moving. It keeps the workout fast. When I was a teenager, I did more of the bodybuilding stuff where you do 4 sets of 10 of this, 4 sets of 10 of this, 3 sets of 10 on this, 5 sets of 10 on this. And it just gets boring because you're next. And it's just, you're working very sagitalistically and you're not being very functional and you're not getting your heart rate elevated. So hopefully this video was helpful. If there's any things that you have comments or questions on, just let me know and I'd be willing to go into them in further depth. But the main thing that I just want to get with this is we got to be healthier, men, especially for those of us who are in the blue collar trades. There's just too many guys that are way overweight. Their knees are bummed out, their shoulders are bummed out, their elbows are bummed out, their backs are blown out. They got giant beer guts, and they've got they have 230 pounds on a 170 pound frame because they just eat like garbage. So eat healthier, work smarter, work out stronger, healthier, smarter too. And that'll allow you to do your farm work and your trade work way easier and way longer. Because the last thing you need, and I've seen it so many times, is, dad, uncle, grandpa sitting on the couch because they blew their back out at work. And that's not good. So thank you all for tuning in to the Farmstead Way, and I hope you all have a good day. Like, share, and subscribe. Take it easy, y'all.